Okay, so from here, we're going to see that here is our testes, all the way up here, since you have claspers, so it's obviously a male shark. If it's an undeveloped female, this is where the ovaries are going to be. If it's developed, you're going to see the ovaries rather large coming up throughout. So here is going to be our celiac artery that comes and joins with our hepatic portal vein coming down here. Our celiac is the one that branches 3 times into hugs. So we're going to have our hepatic, which is going to travel up back to the liver. We're going to have our gastric, which is going to go into the stomach, and then we're going to have our splenic, which is rather hard to see, and I don't see it on mine. So as you can see, this is our stomach with our gastric. This is going to be our spleen. Coming down here is our hepatic portal vein is going to continue into the lienomesenteric vein, which is on the dorsal lobe of the pancreas. And we will see our ventral lobe of the pancreas that actually sits on top of the intestines. So we have our lienomesenteric here. We have our hepatic portal vein is going to continue on to our intestines, which is not divided into large and small. This is our anterior intestinal artery and vein with our annulars that each go over a spiral valve inside. So you can see that yellow spiral valve in there. And then coming down here is our posterior intestinal artery and vein. So that's going to be this artery. The posterior intestinal is going to come from the dorsal aorta, go back up onto the underside of the intestines. And the other one that comes from the dorsal aorta here is going to be your gastrosplenic artery that comes all the way over into the spleen and then up into the stomach. Down here we have our rectal gland. The rectal gland has the posterior mesenteric artery that's going to connect it. We also have our 3 branches, which I'm not too keen on those, so I'm going to skip that for right now. But coming up here, so you can see obviously we have our heart. The ventricles are not divided in the shark. Over here is going to be our right atrium, and then our left atrium, and then we have this top part here is our conus arteriosus. I thought it just had 1 atrium.
One ventricle, 2 atrium.
One ventricle, 2 atrium. Technically, the atrium wraps around the ventricle like that, but
that's what I was thinking.
And then inside the mouth here, the top part that we have is our internal carotid. Coming from the middle here, you should have your vertebrals, but we can't see it in this shark. However, you can see my radix aorta very slightly. The radix aorta is going to come up and arch to connect with your internal carotids and then extend out into your hyoid and epibronchial. Here we have our 1st through 4th efferent arteries, and they're all going to branch from the dorsal aorta out to the gills. On the 2nd efferent, we have this really squiggly artery, and that's going to be your esophageal artery. And as you can also see, where is it? We also have our spiracle somewhere that I've seemed to lost. Oh, there's one right there. And then right there. So that indentation is going to be your spiracle. Ta-da! Beautiful. And your duodenal or whatever.
Your pancreas,
and then, yes, you're going to have,
gastric.
yeah, so that'll be,
That splits into your pancreomesenteric, right?
yeah, I believe that's this one here. The first branch should be your pancreatico-mesenteric.
And then from there it splits off into 3.
Yeah, and then from here it also going to split down into, we have the intraintestinal, right?
Yeah, intraintestinal.
Our intraintestinal here.
Then the duodenal.
Which one is the
I'm going to have Katie or somebody do that because I'm not sure on the small branching down in here. That's one thing I'm not 100% on.
That's your pyloric. It's right there.
I know the pyloric.
It's sitting right on the pyloric.
I'm bleeding? Oh,
You got bitten by a shark.